if you pick up newspapers like the Daily Telegraph or the Sunday Telegraph today, you'll get the impression that there's a range of BBC commentators and bigwigs calling on Simon Jack to apologise for getting the story wrong about Nigel Farage and possibly even of betraying his source. Now, when you start looking at it, the whole thing is a sort of concerted campaign by GBNews. Nicholas Owen was on GBNews. Nicholas Owen was a remarkable newsreader in the past, and now he's got rather impressive white hair, and he thinks that Simon Jack should explain whether or not it was Dame Alison Rose who had given him the information that Nigel Farage's Coutts account was being closed down because he didn't have enough money. Mr. Owen was being interviewed by Camilla Tomini on GBNews. Simon Jack is a jolly good journalist, jolly good at his job, and if he sits next to a banker who gives him a line on the Nigel Farage story, well, of course, he's going to go with that. It's a jolly good source. But if that source turns out to be wrong, the facts are simply the other way round, as Nigel himself has now discovered in great detail, then for goodness sake, just put your hands up. Simon, come on, lad. Just say, sorry, got that wrong. Sometimes your instincts are proved to be wrong. Go out and say it, admit it, and get on with it. But the BBC moves so slow. And Mr. Owen should realise that the word slow is an adverb. The Broken Biscuit Company, as GBNews calls it, the Broken Biscuit Company, the BBC. So much of the issues with these stories is the BBC's classic reaction to things, and this is one of them, apparently. Mr. Owen is now 76 years old. He began his broadcasting career in the BBC in 1981 and rejoined its BBC News channel in 2007. He continues occasionally to present news, but he's not a regular. And the other person who laid in quite firmly was Jacob Rees-Mogg, who was giving a rather statesman-like interview also to Camilla, and he was doing it from his country house. Lovely curtains, very nice flowers in the background, probably arranged by Nanny, and he is quite certain that the BBC leaker, whoever that is, whether that's Alison Rose or somebody else, should put their hands up as well and say that they fed the wrong material, the wrong information. Meanwhile, Farage has put in another request for a dossier from Coutts, and should that explain that Alison Rose was only equipped with half of the information, then I suppose she will have a way out. If it says that she has all the information, and if she is indeed the person who leaked that information to Simon, then I'm afraid she is genuinely caught in that lie. Definitely there's deceit, and it's not something I expect ever to hear from a bank. Now, various people have pointed out in the comments that I have a rosy hued view of banking, and the banking should be thinking about making money and avoiding losing money. But I think at its cutting edge, it's serving customers, and I'm afraid I perhaps take a 19th century view of banking mores, and apologies for that.